Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Cambly Tutor Spotlight series, where we talk to some of the best Cambly tutors and hear their stories. I'm Lynn, and today we're talking to Kerry. Kerry, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me. I'm very honored to be here today.
It's our pleasure. I'm really looking forward to hearing your story and hearing a little bit about your Cambly adventures.
Oh, and I've had a few, but all positive, very good.
Well,
Thank you, Lynn.
that's awesome. So how long have you been here? How long have you been tutoring?
It's almost 4 years since I joined Cambly and had great adventures.
And is this like a full-time gig for you, or is it a supplemental job? Do you do other things on the side?
It started off as supplemental, but evolved into a full-time job.
Okay.
So yeah, I work 36 to 40 hours a week with Cambly.
Oh, wow. That is full-time. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, what were you doing before you joined Cambly?
Well, I was working at a private school where we taught English as a second language to adults. They were or are refugees and immigrants who've come to Canada and, of course, have to upgrade their English so they can live in the country.
So was this a goal of yours to help in that capacity, or how did that happen where you started to help refugees learn English?
I applied at the school, went for the interview, and they gave me the opportunity, and it was fabulous. Yeah, it just evolved that way, and I thought, I'm liking this so much, I want to do more.
Right.
So I was online just reading one night, and I came across Cambly and thought, I could fall into that quite comfortably, I think.
Was the experience starting on Cambly, was it the same as teaching in person, or was there a period of adjustment?
Oh, of course, yes. I mean, nerves were a hurdle because when you're in the classroom with the teacher, you've got the support from someone else and the support from the school. And so, yeah, I had to be basically in control and figure out what I would do next. And I was kind of bewildered in the beginning because learning how the classroom worked. Yeah, it took a lot. I had to make a lot of adjustments to myself, but they came quite comfortably. And the students, they just seem to know, we're all human, right?
Yeah. I think sometimes, especially if you've been teaching in a brick and mortar setting, I think some of us think, no problem, I've got this. And we start online and it's kind of a different world. There are some things to get used to. And one of the other tutors that I had interviewed, Kimmer, she had said something that I thought was so true. You have to humble yourself because you could be 100% confident in the classroom, but then it's just you online and you might be a little bit lost.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, in the classroom, there's, the whiteboard, there's books, there's all kinds of supplies. Online, you have to know what you're doing. And yes, you do have to humble yourself. She had a good choice of words.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Teaches us a lot about ourselves.
It does. It does. And I think it's not only a growth process for students, it's a growth process for us as tutors. And we sort of learn what works and what doesn't, what we're comfortable with, what students want from us. I don't know if you felt this way, but sometimes we feel that pressure to be perfect as tutors and to know everything.
Yeah.
And the students are looking at us or to us for all the answers, and sometimes we don't have them.
Yes, and I've had to bow down and say many times, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question, but I'm going to find the answer. And yeah, because we can't know everything. And that's one very valuable piece of information I saw in the tutor guide was, if you don't know the answer, just say so.
Yes.
And so I tried it, and it's well accepted by the students.
Yeah. We put so much pressure on ourselves. And especially if this is a new format, if teaching online, if being in a video chat is new to people, there's a lot of pressure. So you're sort of dealing with that internal pressure of okay, I have to I have to look good. I've got to communicate and look in their eyes and pay attention, and technology. So there's a lot to balance at first. Do you remember your first class?
Yes, yes. I was a jittery bundle of nerves
Okay.
waiting for the first call. Of course, I was on PH,
Mhm.
and it was a lovely lady from Saudi Arabia who had her camera turned off. And she asked me to send her something from the library through the chat box. And I had no idea how.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, how do I do that? And she taught me.
Oh
She
my
helped
gosh,
me.
that's
Yes.
funny.
And I know the first class, the student was teaching me, and I was so grateful. I
Yeah.
don't think I ever spoke with her again,
Oh,
but oh, and that was okay. I mean, she just helped me, and I'm so grateful.
how long did it take for you to get really comfortable with being a Cambly tutor?
Well, probably just a couple of weeks,
Okay.
because well, I was doing PH, and I mean, on PH, you're just open to absolutely everything that comes your way.
When you said that your first session was someone with their camera off, I'm sure that you've had many more like that
Oh, yeah.
in the classes that followed. So, do you have any advice for tutors? Because some tutors find it very difficult to communicate with students with the camera off. I don't know if it's like a mental block or something. They need to see the person to feel comfortable. So, was there anything that made you more comfortable feeling?
Well, thank you. Sometimes I will ask the student, about themselves, like what color is your hair? What color are your eyes?
Mhm.
So that I can have a picture in my mind
Okay.
of, how they appear.
Yes.
And I'll ask them why their camera is off sometimes.
Mhm.
And they'll give me an honest answer. Sometimes their camera is broken.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. And sometimes they say it's part of their culture.
Yeah.
And I just say, okay, that's great. Would you tell me what color your hair is? This kind of thing. And it helps me a lot then. I have a picture in my mind. That's the best suggestion I have for a camera that's off. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really good advice, though. For years, I was just talking to the black screen or looking at myself,
Yes.
in the little box, and they'd be like, "Don't." Students would say, "Don't look down there. Look at me." I'm like, "I don't know where you are. I
Oh,
don't. What am I looking at?" So it took me a long time to get comfortable with that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your particular schedule. Sometimes we have these relationships with students and they become friends, they become family to us, and we only stick to regular students. Do you think it's beneficial for tutors to occasionally open their schedule to new students so that they get sort of fresh energy into their classes?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And there's always new students joining Cambly, so we have to be available to them.
Yeah.
And so, and the fresh people, ideas, conversation are so important. I think to us as tutors as well, because it can help us grow.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I do like to meet the new students. I met about 4 new students this past week, and they've all rescheduled with me.
Wow, that's amazing. Are there some specific things you do to get them to rebook with you or to get them to become a regular student?
At the beginning of a class, if I see it's a student who's been on Cambly for, maybe less than 100 minutes, I
Yeah.
always say, hey, welcome to Cambly. It's great to have you here.
Mhm.
And then I just say, I'll send you the link to my schedule. And I hope you'll join me again. This was a great class and we can do many things together. Just, yeah, absolutely. Make them feel wanted and
Yeah.
welcome.
Yes. Yeah, attitude is everything. And
Yeah.
and this is I always try to remind myself this is a big deal for many students. Sometimes they're shaking with nerves when they first start. This is a big deal to speak in a different language. So to have someone who's positive and friendly and someone that can really reach out and bring them in, draw them into the experience, I think is really helpful. Well, do you have a proudest Cambly moment?
One that comes to mind is a Turkish gentleman. Oh, when he came to me, he was a nervous wreck.
Oh, no.
And he had a dream to move to another city, have a job at a big company. He had several interviews, and a lot of them, of course, required some English. A few days later, he got the job. He said, I was at my new job, and they brought me the phone and said, you speak English. You have to talk English on the phone to this customer.
Oh my gosh.
And he said, I was so nervous.
Oh,
And he got through it. He said, it went so well. He was shocked. He said, the person understood me.
oh,
I said, of course.
I love
So,
that.
yeah,
That is amazing. Sometimes do you find that it's less about the English and more about confidence or attitude?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of students will say that, like, I need to build my confidence.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, well, practice, and we can build up the confidence, the vocabulary,
Yeah.
everything.
I
Yeah.
just think, I think that's the most beautiful thing, just to be a part of someone's life like that and a part of their story is an amazing gift.
It is, yes. We do have a huge effect on their lives, as they do for us as well.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Some students have said that to me, like, you're so lucky. You're so lucky that you grew up speaking English. And of course, when you're growing up, you don't think about that. It's just your language.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
But later on, when we grow up and we see what the demands of the world and what can make or break your future, I'm very lucky, and I think we're really blessed growing up speaking this language.
And blessed that we have this opportunity to share it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, now I get to ask you the fun question. What student would make you go crazy? Like, who would make you lose your mind?
I'm a huge fan of the Beatles, and I would have to say Paul McCartney.
Okay.
Yes, I would probably try to talk in a British accent, just hoping he would understand me even better, which is silly.
Mm.
But yeah, I wouldn't know what to do.
Well, we're getting to the end here of our interview, but I really want to hear your advice. Maybe there are new tutors that are just starting out, maybe prospective tutors that are thinking about joining Cambly, or tutors that have been here forever, like me. What advice would you give them to be successful here?
Well, a few things. First of all, read the tutor guide.
Yeah.
It's vital.
Yeah.
It's vital. Be positive, be real, just be yourself. And like we talked about earlier, if you don't know an answer, just say so.
Yeah.
And listen. Always listen to what the students have to say. And smile a lot.
That's good. Very good advice. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun talking to you. And thanks to everyone watching today. If you have an interesting Cambly Tutor story, please let us know in the comments or send us a message. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.